Missing children. What happened? I was 9 when I realized my father was taking children. The first clue was the tiny pink hair clip I found in his work truck. It belonged to Sarah Martinez, the girl from 2 towns over whose face had been plastered on every milk carton for weeks. I knew because she wore that exact butterfly clip in her school photo. My stomach dropped when I saw it wedged between the seat cushions. Dad worked as a maintenance contractor for elementary schools across 3 counties. He had keys to everything: classrooms, playgrounds, even the buildings themselves. The perfect job for someone hunting children. I started paying attention to his schedule. Every Tuesday and Thursday, he'd come home late, clothes sometimes dirty, humming like he'd had a particularly good day. Those were the same days local news would report another missing child. The pattern was impossible to ignore. I became a detective in my own house. When Dad showered, I searched his truck. When he slept, I went through his work files. I found a notebook with school layouts, recess schedules, and security camera blind spots marked in red ink. But the worst discovery was in his bedroom closet. A shoebox hidden behind winter coats contained 23 small items: a bracelet, a toy car, hair ribbons, a retainer case. Trophies from 23 children who would never come home. Each item had a date written on masking tape underneath. I photographed everything with Mom's old digital camera, my hands shaking so badly I had to retake most shots. The dates went back 4 years, long before we'd moved to this town. He'd been doing this everywhere we lived. That night at dinner, I watched him cut his steak and joke about his day, knowing those same hands had destroyed entire families. Mom laughed at his stories, completely oblivious to the monster sitting across from her. I had to tell someone, but who would believe a 9-year-old accusing her own father? The next morning, I overheard Dad on the phone scheduling maintenance at Riverside Elementary for that afternoon. I knew that school. My friend Jessica went there. I couldn't let him take another child. While Dad was at work, I snuck into his home office and found the schoolmaster key hanging on a hook behind his desk. I also grabbed the notebook with his hunting plans. I rode my bike 12 miles to the police station. The desk sergeant looked skeptical when a crying 4th grader walked in claiming her father was a kidnapper. But when I showed him Sarah's hair clip and the photos from the shoebox, his expression changed completely. Within an hour, every cop in the county was racing toward Riverside Elementary. They found Dad in the school basement with 8-year-old Marcus Chen, who'd been lured away from recess with promises of finding a lost puppy. Dad had zip ties, duct tape, and a large plastic tarp spread on the floor. Marcus was rescued unharmed. Dad was arrested on 17 counts of kidnapping. The other children were found buried in a remote section of state forest, exactly where Dad's notebook indicated they'd be. 23 families finally got answers, even if they weren't the ones they'd prayed for. At the trial, I testified via video link from the prosecutor's office. The defense tried to argue that a child's testimony was unreliable, but the physical evidence was overwhelming. Dad received 23 consecutive life sentences. Mom never forgave me for destroying our family. She moved across the country, and we haven't spoken since. I live with my aunt now, who tells me every day how proud she is of my courage. Sometimes I still wake up wondering if there might have been a 24th child if I'd waited even one more day. But then I remember Marcus's smile when he was reunited with his parents, and I know I made the right choice. The nightmares are getting better. Dad will die in prison. And I saved a life when I was only 9 years old.